Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Will Jesse Lingard make a return to Manchester United? Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that Jesse Lingard has a future with Manchester United, and Solskjaer has confirmed that Manchester United want Jesse Lingard back. Now, it said the other week that we set our asking price for Jesse Lingard. It's £30 million. It said not so long ago that we want a swap deal involving Jesse Lingard and Declan Rice. It also mentioned that we had the advantage in Jesse Lingard transfer talks, because West Ham have said they'll do whatever it takes to get Lingard permanently. Earlier on this season, it said that we was open to a sensational return for Lingard, and it said we could give him a new 3-year contract. Lingard went out on loan to West Ham in January, and he has made a fantastic impact. So there's no reason why West Ham would not want him permanently. It's his 5th loan spell, by the way, because before Lingard's had loan spells with Leicester, Birmingham, Brighton and Derby. I think Lingard's current contract at Man United expires very soon. The reason we loaned him out is because he was frozen out of our squad. I think he's only made 3 appearances for us this season. But don't forget, Lingard came up our youth setup, so he's actually been part of the club for a long time. Don't forget there was a period where Lingard didn't score 1 goal in the Premier League for Man United or register 1 assist in the Premier League for over a year. But he's won some trophies at Man United, the FA Cup, the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. He scored in these finals. So that's more news on Jesse Lingard. By the way, I've heard that Arsenal are interested in him. So, which centre-half should Manchester United sign? Now, it said not so long ago that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. The first 4 names are Jules Koundé from Sevilla, Pau Torres from Villarreal, Konate from RB Leipzig, and Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. We need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. We need someone who's going to complement him. I'd take Rafael Varane at Manchester United. Main explanations is because he's a world-class centre-half. He's highly experienced. He's like 27 years of age. And his performances for Real Madrid have been outstanding. He's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been with them now like 10 years. He's won 18 major honours. He's made over 300 appearances. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. He hasn't played in the Premier League yet, but I can assure if he comes to the Premier League, he will exceed expectations and he'll replicate what he's done at Real Madrid. There's been a lot of good news coming out regarding Raphael Varane recently. It says that Raphael Varane is ready to leave Real Madrid and Man United are preparing a transfer bid. He says we will chase him in the summer and we hope to lower Real Madrid's 60 million asking price. Raphael Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. He has just over 1 year left on his current contract. The Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda said earlier on this season that Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer transfer window. He said earlier on this season that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition: he must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. I think 60 million though is a reasonable figure for a player like Raphael Varane. But out of the centre-halves we've been in for, Raphael would be the one I would take. So I think Man United should sign. Jules Koundé from Sevilla, I'd take him if we don't get Raphael Varane, because Jules Koundé's performances for Sevilla have been very, very good. He's been at Sevilla almost 2 years now. He's got a contract with Sevilla until 2024. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. Now, it said the other week that Sevilla have slapped a £68 million price tag on Koundé. Fabrizio Romano had spoken about it. He said Sevilla's £68 million asking price is complicating a deal, but he said he's one of the most appreciated players on United's radar. A few weeks ago, it said we'd been handed a boost in our bid to sign Koundé because it said that Sevilla had reduced their asking price to £50 million. His buyout clause is around 68 million, and it said earlier on this season we was not willing to meet his 68 million buyout clause, but it did mention that we was prepared to pay 61 million pounds. La Razzion said earlier on this season we were considered the favourites to sign him. Pau Torres. Now, it said recently that we'd been handed a boost in the transfer pursuit of Pau Torres, because it says that we supposedly can sign Pau Torres for less than his 56 million release clause this summer. Says Villarreal are willing to accept around £43 million. Reports from Spain said quite a few weeks ago that Pau Torres wants to come to Man United, and the Real Madrid president Florentino Perez was infuriated with Man United for entering the race because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites to sign him. Pau Torres has been at Villarreal a long time. He's got a contract with them until 2024. I don't really know much about Pau Torres, to be honest with you. We've obviously been in for Kalidou Koulibaly before. I'd take him at Manchester United, but we're going to have to pay a substantial amount to convince Napoli to offload him. And we've also been in for Sergio Ramos. You already know the news on Harry Kane. I've been talking a lot about Harry Kane recently. Now, recent reports have said that Harry Kane to Manchester United could be off following Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's bust-up with Jose Mourinho recently. Now, there was reports coming out recently saying that PSG are looking to beat Man United and Man City to the signing of Harry Kane. But apparently Harry Kane wants to stay in the Premier League if he leaves Tottenham. Kane said he wants to leave Tottenham at the end of the season if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Earlier on this season, it said that Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow because he refused to commit his future to the club. And it said he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, said a few weeks ago that he'd made his transfer decision regarding Harry Kane. And he says Tottenham will not sell Harry Kane to another Premier League club. We'll have to make an offer of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload him. It's us and City that want him because we're both in search for number 9s. David Einstein was talking about it not so long ago. And he said he spoke to people in football. He said that Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham because he's unhappy. He said he's committed to them whilst he's there. But he said he wants to win the biggest trophies and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. You know, Kane has been at Tottenham for 17 years, so he's been a long-serving player. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. He's won the Golden Boot a couple of times. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2024, because back in 2018 he signed a 6-year contract. He's had a few loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. But I take him at Man United is because he's well proven in the Premier League and he's a prolific goal scorer, so reflects on that he would assure us goals. Earlier on today, I give you the news on Jaden Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have set the price for Jaden Sancho. It's £86 million. So now reflecting on that, we've got a good chance of signing him. So Dortmund have lowered their asking price because initially they was demanding £108 million. You know, Borussia Dortmund have already admitted that they will sell Jaden Sancho for the right price in the summer. And Borussia Dortmund's CEO has already revealed that the club will discuss exceptional offers. But we're still interested in Sancho and we are refusing to rule out a move. And Declan Rice, you know, apparently he's interested in coming to Manchester United. West Ham have demanded over £100 million. And Declan Rice has asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. But in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window, and I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen up. We need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Like I've already mentioned, this year's summer transfer window is massive for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Reports said not so long ago that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. He did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. I've already said I think Solskjaer needs at least £200 million if he's to get the players he wants to recommend in. But I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window. and he'll be Man United manager next season, because we've already made it clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. And the Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. So if we didn't win the Europa League this season, that'd be exactly 4 years without a trophy. There's a very good chance that we're going to win the Europa League though, because we're more or less now into the semi-finals. That'll be 5 semi-finals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'd say reflect on that 3-1 win against Tottenham recently. That secures us a second place finish. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has already agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. Is it the right decision giving him a new contract, or is it the wrong decision? I presume there's a lot of United fans that disagree with us giving him this new contract, because I kind of sure he won't see it out. Ole's still got 1 year left on his current 3-year contract. You know, there has been a lot of Man United fans demanding Ole out. They've obviously got main explanations why, but there's still some Man United fans that are Ole in and believes that he needs more time. But I said he does deserve at least another season because Ole has made progress in certain aspects. But Solskjaer should get very, very good backing in the summer transfer window, because obviously we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football and he knows the club well. And John Murtough, by the way, is our first ever director of football. And we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. And like I've mentioned, Solskjaer's already had the transfer summit with our recruitment team. And obviously Woodward is standing by Solskjaer. Now, quite a few players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. There's a good chance that Cavani will leave. Reports have come out today, though, and said that we've been handed a boost in our attempt to keep hold of Edinson Cavani, because the Uruguay manager has advised Edinson Cavani to stay in Europe. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Cavani to stay at Man United for next season, and so too do a lot of Man United fans. Solskjaer said prior to the Tottenham game that he's unsure over Cavani's future. Not so long ago, we held showdown talks with Cavani over his future at the club, and we want to convince him to stay. Footballer Insider said not so long ago that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He's already got a verbal agreement with them. Apparently Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. Now, Marcus Rojo, who's a former Man United player, he's held conversations with Edinson Cavani over a Boca Juniors move, and he recently urged Cavani to quit Man United for Boca Juniors by promising to take him fishing. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer did say that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. Cavani's father said earlier on this season that Cavani's unhappy, he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Cavani's made an impact since he's come in though, he really has. But there's been some games where Cavani has looked off the pace. There's been some games where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. And he was superb against Tottenham recently. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial. I think we need to offload Anthony Martial because he's no longer good enough to represent the club. Martial's got an injury at the moment. It's very, very likely that he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago. He sustained the injury whilst he was on international duty with France, did Anthony Martial. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer backed Martial to rediscover his form, and he said he has been impressed with his work rate. I reckon Martial's had 2 good seasons. Good last season and good in his debut season under Van Gaal. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco. And I think it was last season we give Martial that number 9 shirt. He's been at the club over 5 years now. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance we'll offload him because he doesn't get in our 11. And my element of concern about Juan Mata, he's lost that yard of pace, and plus he's 34, 35 now. The first part of this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But I think he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. Got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. And he was out of injury not so long ago. Donny van der Beek, I think we need to offload him in the summer transfer window. Main explanation is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Man United. If he was getting enough opportunities, then I'd be saying different. I'd be saying keep Donny van der Beek because genuinely he is a good player. He really is. But most of Donny van der Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Hasn't he? He had an injury not so long ago and he was out for a while. Ronald de Boer has actually backed Donny van der Beek to become a success at Man United. And he said earlier on this season that Van der Beek still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Solskjaer did make an admission earlier on this season saying that Van der Beek's unhappy. But he promised him more game time at Man United. Now earlier on this season it said that Van der Beek wanted showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future because it said he threatened to quit Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time. We're considering a swap deal. There has been talks of a Donny van der Beek and Adrian Rabiot swap deal. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million from Ajax last summer. And he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Paul Pogba, he could still leave Man United in the summer transfer window. There again, he could stay potentially past the summer. Italian reports have recently said that there could be a swap deal between Paul Pogba and Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you think that'd be a good swap deal? You know, Cristiano Ronaldo coming back to Man United and Paul Pogba making a return to Juventus. Because it's saying Cristiano Ronaldo could make a sensational return to Manchester United. But to be honest with you, I'd like us to keep Paul Pogba potentially past the summer because he brings creativity to the team and we've been getting the best out of him in recent months. I think Pogba's more effective in more of an advanced role. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. Don't forget, earlier on this season, Pogba was out with a thigh injury for a while. He had an ankle injury at the first part of this season and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, so he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. But he said recently that our players would be devastated if the club decided to sell Pogba. Ollie said not so long ago that Pogba's future lies at Old Trafford and Solskjaer hopes he'll stay and sign a new contract. Pogba's current contract expires in 2022 because earlier on this season we triggered that 1 year extension on his contract. Obviously, Mini Oriola's been desperate to get his client out of the football club. Nemanja Matic, I think there's a good chance we'll offload him because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. David De Gea, I think there's a good chance he'll leave in the summer transfer window. He recently said that we may loan De Gea out. He said that De Gea's made his transfer decision, he's preparing to leave Man United, and it said the other week we'll pay off his huge contract. We've set the price for De Gea, it's 50 million. And there's a few clubs that are interested in him. AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid and PSG. De Gea has 2 years left on his current contract and he's on 375 grand a week. But I reckon De Gea's had his years at Man United. He's been at the club 10 years now, so he has been a long servant. Phil Jones, I'm expecting us to offload him because he's always been inconsistent. He's been out of injury over the year and doesn't get in our team. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. Axel Tuanzebe, could we offload him because he doesn't get in our 11, but I think he's in contention to play against Granada tomorrow. And Delors, I think we'll look to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. But obviously, we sell players in the summer transfer window, will generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. But there is players that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window. And I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I've got to say, is our best manager since Ferguson. He's been Man United manager now over 2 years. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, that they're not a big club. And before Molde, he was at Cardiff and he enjoyed a very short tenure at Cardiff. And don't forget, Ole managed Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team at this day and age grow and develop. But his game managerial experience in that and learnt quite a bit, reflecting now on his being with us. The main explanation Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been Man United manager now. Ole did enjoy 11 years as a player for Man United and he flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. That's one of my concerns about him. So there's some negativity regarding Solskjaer. We've enjoyed really bad periods under him, where you can turn around and say he was lucky not to be sacked. His decision making is another one of my concerns about him. But there's positivity as well. Solskjaer has made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent almost 300 million. So far, he's enjoyed 4 transfer windows at the club as permanent Man United manager, that is. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. Last season, in his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us 3rd. This season, his second full season, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, he's more or less got us to the Europa League semi-final. We've been very good away from home. We're unbeaten in our last 23 Premier League away games, so we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. I like the way he's promoted the youth, and in general, we've enjoyed very, very good periods under him, and he has beaten some big-name managers. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Is he in a position he shouldn't be really in? We appointed Ole in December 2018 and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. I think mistakes have been made in the last 8 years and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. I've got to say that the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, reflecting now poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. And in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players they wanted to recommend in. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, and that's 8 years ago now. But like I said, we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. And like I've already mentioned, no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club, and no one's going to last as long as Ferguson did. You know, Ferguson endured a 26, 27 year tenure, won 30 odd trophies, so he brought success to the club. And a lot of United fans predicted it was all going to go downhill when Ferguson retired, which obviously it has done. The three managers that have been sacked since Ferguson is David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. So anyway guys, more videos will be coming up tomorrow. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.